I injured my lumbar spine in boot camp, filed disability claim years later, had been denied 3 times, and going to second CMP soon. My strain has become scoliosis, disc bulging, urinary frequency, depression, bilateral radiculopathy, nearly unable to work. Walk, excuse me. How do I make the best out of my upcoming CMP exam?
Wait, let's go back, because that's solely on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, gosh, urinary can give you, remember, if I would make sure that I hope you put in those medical articles that show how your back can cause urinary problems. And then I would look at the rating for urinary, because remember, it has to do you change pads? How often do you change pads? Do you get up at night? How many times? So you need to understand and think about your answers, because a lot of times when it's the first time you're asked, you don't even really think. So I would make sure I had my answers on there. The radiculopathy sounds like it's pretty severe if you're almost unable to walk. So remember, just your back can give you a very high rating. So you want to make sure that you point out every problem that you have, how consistent it is.
But let's go back to was it the first one or the one before?
There was one, yeah.
So that to me is putting the horse before the cart, because what we really need to show in your CMP exam is why it's service connected. And you hurt your spine in boot camp. Do we have service medical records of that? Do we have buddy statements? We need something in addition to your statement showing that it's related to service. So we need to get that evidence in front of the examiner. And then we need your evidence, you saying, look, I hurt my back. I was able to get through it, but it hurt me the whole time, and I just kind of powered through, and I can no longer power through. You got to show that there was a continuity of symptomatology, basically that the symptoms never went away.
And remember, it's the continuity of symptoms, not treatment. Okay.
Or diagnosis.
So remember, you want to show them this continued and why it continued, and maybe how it affected you, jobs you couldn't do. So that's the way you convince the examiner. It continued to hurt, and this is how it affected me throughout the years. If you went to a doctor, you can say, I went to this doctor for 30 years and he's retired and I can't get the records. Mm-hmm. You just need to prove to them that this wasn't an isolated boot camp incident that went away. Because they'll probably maybe say, well, you're in boot camp and look how much hard work you did after that you weren't complaining about your back. So you need to be ready to make sure you've answered all those questions before she even asks them, he or she.
But your focus is on why it's related to service.
Right.
All those other things are downstream.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they're going to be putting down all of those things.
I mean, if he's been denied 3 times, I'm going to get service connected first.
Yeah.
If you have to appeal the ratings and the secondary issues, that's fine, because you're still going to have the same effective date. But I want to get them to admit that it's related. The hardest part of your case is getting them to admit it's related to service. Once you've got that, then we're talking about secondary conditions, we're talking about ratings. You're going to have the evidence for that. That you'll get that.